Today's guest, he's from MTV's Challenge, where he made his debut on Fresh Meat 2. He's Brandon Nelson. Thank you for being here today, Brandon.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
All right. So I'm going to start because I know a lot of people like to dive into challenge questions, but I'm actually curious because you said a few times on the show that you were, a sports guy growing up. So, like, what sports did you play growing up?
Mainly football, but I mean, it was football, basketball. I played baseball for a couple years. It was just too slow for me. I liked contact. So even not being the biggest guy in the world, it did help out that I was faster than everybody too at the time. So football was usually my thing. And then growing up, man, I mean, I just excelled at it. By the time I got to high school, I think my junior year, I was already captain of varsity. Not that that means anything, as I'm 36 right now, but made the state all-star team in Humble, Arkansas. Played with some folks that actually went to the league that I still know to this day. Send money, but no. It was football is my main thing, but basketball though I played that all throughout high school as well. But I mean, there's one thing I will not back down from, and I have witnesses. I have videotape. My shot is wet. That's one thing I'll never back down from. So I always tell people there's three things you can depend on in life: death, taxes, and my jump shot. So that was.
Yeah, I'm quite the sharpshooter when it comes to two ball.
Okay.
Like when it's like you and your partner.
Yeah.
You hit the layup and then you throw it to your teammate. They have to make it around the 3-point line. Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Were you? Because I heard on Challenge Mania, you were actually when you first auditioned or signed up. It was Cancun at the time, and that they told you that you didn't fit that theme. So you were kind of worried that meant like you weren't gonna get casted. But then you ended up getting called for Fresh Meat 2. Were you glad they skipped you right to the challenge, or would you have liked to experience the real world?
To be totally honest, I was mad but grateful because it's like, yeah, with the whole competition thing, but then with the competition thing of the challenge, you always run the risk of going home at any given time. Like, not even because you lost. Your team could have lost. But then they say, well, you can go into elimination and then you can come back. Well, that's still not my fault. You know what I'm saying? And I was to transition to that, and I'll get back to your original question. It pissed me off. I think my last season was Free Agents, right? And I don't know if it was the next season or the season after that when they started doing like with the Redemption House or like
the next season, yeah. That was like the Exiled, yeah.
I was so mad because I'm like, I'm the one that goes into all the eliminations. Like, why couldn't I have another chance to come back? Like, that would have been cool, but whatever. But no, so like, yeah, I would have, in total honesty, I would have much rather have done the real world first. Mm-hmm. I think people would have gotten to know me, a little bit better. Because, when you're in competition mode, I don't do a lot of the talking in the back and forth. I mean, like, if we're playing ball, yeah, I do that. But, like, at the chat, I'm like, my mindset is, okay, we don't even know what we're doing. I'm used to watching film, game plan, and practice, things like that. And TJ will come in with okay, so guys, make sure you have your shorts on tomorrow and be ready for hot weather. We could be playing volleyball for all I fucking know. I don't. So, but everybody's like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, and we got to get prepared for this. I'm like, that's why I had a laid back sense to it. But once I found out what we were doing when we got to the site, then I'm like, all right, let's figure it out. You know what I mean? But it's just, yeah, I mean, going straight into that, I much rather would have done the real world first, just because I would want people to know me a little bit better than they think they do. Because with those little clips, because I mean, when you walk into the house on the challenge, you walk in with 29 other people. Mm-hmm. So those little clips that you get that actually get aired, if they don't hit the editing room floor, as they say, that's all people know about you until they actually meet you or actually talk to you. So I think I would have valued the real world a little bit more, but I definitely still would have wanted to do the challenge. But I didn't go to a challenge audition. I went to a real world audition.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was your relationship like with the other fresh meat when you first got there?
When I first got there, I think first off, when I saw Sandy, I was like, oh, well, okay. But then me and Noor, we clicked pretty quick. You know, I'm from Arkansas, he's from Texas, so me and Noor we clicked pretty quick, and I mean we all kind of got pretty close. Me and Luke, we got close too, and me and Cara, for whatever reason, like I'd say halfway through, because a lot of people don't know when we first got to British Columbia, or no, Vancouver. Well, same thing, whatever. As soon as we got there, we think that we're about to go into the house, we're going to party, we're going to do this. They made us stay in an army tent in the middle of a field for like 5 days and didn't tell us anything. Like every day we'd wake up on a cot, like freezing cold or whatever. In that time, me and Cara Maria got real tight, like randomly. Like this random chick with red hair from Boston. You know, she's just the one thing. I think what we broke the ice because I was like, man, I like those shoes. She had on these red Nikes. But I was like, I like those shoes, but you're going to fuck them up because we're out here in the middle of nowhere and they're going to get dirty. Because I'm like, dude, don't mess up the good shoes. But we didn't know we were going to be in a tent. So me and her still talk. I don't know how we got tight, but from that time on, like we just been cool. You know, she got eliminated the first challenge, first episode. Yeah. So when we did the next season, because we still talked and stuff, but then when we didn't see each other again until we did the next season, which was Cutthroat. And as soon as she saw me, it was just boom. That's my man. That's my boy right there. I miss you. Come on, let's get it. So, but yeah, I'd say her, Noor, and Luke were the ones that, and I love Mandy too, but those were the ones that we found some things in each other early on that kind of made us friends later on.
Yeah. Were there any vets that you kind of looked up to prior to, like, obviously seeing them? Like, the vets out of the ones that were there?
Of course. Well, I mean, Jen, just because she was hot.
That was Vinny's favorite, too, he said.
Yeah. But and she was crazy, though. Like, that was the thing, too. It's kind of scary, you watch it on TV for, how many ever years, and then you're now sitting next to him, and it's like, oh no, this is not a joke. This is not scripted. This is this person, but times 10. But nah, I would say, just from being a fan first, Jim was cool to meet in person. Darrell, of course. You get to meet folks like Kenny and Wes, like that, arguably some of the best that have ever done it. So yeah, that was cool, man. Like, especially, I don't know why, but Kenny, because he was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, kind of like laid back, told me how, like, when he was younger, he used to be fat, and now everybody's looking at him like he's just, this super challenger, which he'll say, I am. but yeah, Kenny probably was like the main one. I was kind of like, yeah, man, this dude, he kind of runs this right now. So
yeah. So me and my one buddy, like, we always look at the Fresh Meat 2 house, and we're like, if we're ever to, like, just go on, like, a vacation anywhere, like, that's the house. That's the spot, So I'm gonna ask you, what were your initial thoughts, like, when you guys arrived to the house and you guys knew, like, this is where we're living?
Well, I'll tell you this, to preface that, all the Fresh Meat 2 new part of the cast that had never been on TV before, all of us rookies, were mad because we're entitled American spoiled brats. Because what they'll do is they'll get you to an airport, right? They won't tell you where you're going. They'll just fly you to a random airport, whether it be LAX, Miami, we'll go out here, JFK, or wherever, because you're going to leave the country. You're not going to be. So we fly up, I think we flew to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put us on another plane, and then that's when they tell you where you're going. And they're like, you're going to Whistler. All right, they said Vancouver. And everybody's like, Vancouver? That's like we could drive here from where we just, so everybody's like excited about leaving the country for the first time because none of us had ever. I think maybe two of us maybe had left the country before, but none of it, So we're kind of like, oh great, we're just going, man, whatever. We get there though. Once we finally get out of that fucking army tent and then finally go through the combine and then get on the bus after we get drafted, which that's a whole other story. We get to the house. When we pull up to the house, the producer's like, all right, because they'll tell you half things and they'll just let you kind of figure it out. So sometimes on the challenge, once the bus pulls up to the house, they'll just open up the door, and everybody's always waiting for a cue or something because we always get told to stop so that way the cameras can set up and this and that. So you're sitting there and stuff. Sometimes they'll just open the bus door because what it is first come first serve. That's why everybody's sprinting to the house to go to try to find the room they want with the person they want to be. Yeah. So when we put up to that house, it was a free for all because we didn't know shit. Like the new kids are just like, "Oh, we're getting off." They're like, "Stop!" So, but yeah, it was over. Like they had to make us like stop, and then finally they're like, "Okay, go." So depending on where you were sitting on the bus, depending on how fast you got into the house to get the room you wanted, but the house was dope. And this is one of the last. I think Cutthroat was the last time they stopped giving away prizes when you'd win a challenge. Yeah. But I know. Yeah, so but then you would notice as you do. I did 5 seasons, so as you get to going along, like little things will change. Like the first season I did, like they treated us like fucking royalty. Like you run into the house, and there's like this buffet spread of food. There's all the stuff. There's alcohol sat out. There's wine, vodka, whatever you want. Just crazy. They did the same thing that next season. After that. That shit stopped. Like, you walk into the house and it's like, hey, just go find your room. Your bag's over there. We'll reconvene in a second. Like, thanks. Oh, there's a wine over there too, by the way. Like, oh, cool. After my second season, I would just go straight to the kitchen to make myself a drink. Let everybody figure out their bullshit, and I go find the free bed, and that'd be me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this fight always kind of like fascinated me, and we saw it on TV, obviously. With it kind of started with Pete and Danny when he stole his potatoes, and then and then you kind of went on Challenge Mania. Kind of, I don't know. It's like you kind of talked about it a little bit, but you kind of made it sound like you weren't too fond of Danny still. So like, could you kind of talk to me like what your whole stance on Danny, and was there anything we didn't see during that?
Danny. He actually messaged me not too long ago, I think. He messaged me on Facebook. I was probably drunk when I did that last one. I know I was drunk. But no, I think my biggest regret was as it got brought back up because I'd forgotten about it. Man, I'm talking about I was probably about 10 pounds heavier, just straight. Like I was solid, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't, because at that time, that's when I was in my baggy clothes phase. And it was funny because I forget the dude's name. But before I got eliminated, he was like, because I was running around the house naked like a fucking idiot. He was like, "Damn, Brandon actually has a body." And I was like, "Ooh, let me go put my shorts back on." But the thing about Danny was that, like he was just a hothead, man. Like he acted like, he ran the house. He was like, calling out, all the rules that are supposed to happen because this is your first time. You're a rookie. You're this. You're that. Blah blah blah. Plus, he was partnering with Sandy, and he was making her feel like she couldn't say anything. You know what I mean? Like, just this is how it works. This is how it works. So whenever he did that, trying to flex on me, like had we just been at home, I just would have hit him in the mouth. Like you pushed me in my chest that hard, I'm just gonna swing. Yeah. But I was just so grateful to be there. I didn't want to mess it up. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the first thing that clicked. Like you're gonna get sent home because the rules were a lot more. When you talk about strict. If you just put your finger on somebody, it's like, hey, you're going to have a talk with somebody later. So at the time, I was just so grateful to be there. I didn't want to mess it up, but it took everything. But then thinking back on it, I should have hit him.
Yeah, honestly, because you did your elimination and they disqualified you guys, right? So
yeah,
at that, and I mean, obviously not to disrespect your partner, but like, if I'm calling a spade, DQ or not, I mean, shit.
I had no chance. I had no chance unless. See, here's the deal. Here's what Wes told me. The day that she got injured, right? We're doing that simple challenge. Like you literally had to jump off of a dock, swim a good ways, climb up a little makeshift rock wall that they basically cut dodgeballs in half and glued them to this wet slip wall. Get up the wall and ring the bell. That's it. She failed miserably at that and claimed to be injured. As I'm trying to like talk her down and tell her don't ask for the ambulance and stuff, Wes is saying the same thing. He's like, don't let her, but she's trying to go to the hospital. He's like, don't let her go to the hospital. Me and Evelyn have already been talking. Y'all, like I said, no offense. Y'all probably the weakest team here. We're gonna carry you to the final. So, but if she's acting like she's hurt, it's gonna be easy for somebody else that if we don't win to throw y'all in. I'm like, all right. I'm talking to her. She's like, no. Caitlin's like, I'm really hurt. I'm trying to respect it, but then again, I want to go off. But then I'm like, how is this going to look if I'm going off? I'm like, can't use that word. So I'm just like, I'm just, I'm from the South. So a whole lot of things are spinning. So I'm just like, fine, man. Because they keep yelling at me and her because she's in the tent, but we have to do like the final results. We have this new TJ's like, get over here. Get her over here. Like, Brandon, get her over here. I'm like, all right. I literally picked her up and carried her over there like a baby and put her on the podium. That way they could, get the shot. We could do our little, okay, you won, you lost, vote tonight, whatever. We walk off. I'm over there talking to somebody. I see her going over to the ambulance. I'm like, and Wes is like, no, she can't do that. She's already in there and she's gone. By the time she gets back to the house, because we'd already been back to the house, we were already drinking and stuff. As soon as you can ask Sydney. I don't know if you remember her, but you can ask Sydney.
Yeah.
As soon as I walked back into the house, I took a shower, I got dressed, I made a drink, and I just started. I think I was playing pool maybe. And then she came over to me and she was like, "What's up?" I was like, "I know I'm going home tomorrow. There's no way that they're not going to vote us in," because I kept telling Caitlin not to go to the hospital. I was like, I know we're going home. So then as I'm talking to her, she comes limping back into the house with crutches. And I'm like, yep, that's a wrap. So then we go do the little vote, and Evelyn's like, well, we have a lot of able-bodied people here, and we don't see it fit. It's not fair for people that can actually to compete, and then you can't just to keep you here. So we got to vote Brandon and Caitlin. And I'm like, whatever. It's cool. I'm out. So, yeah, for the rest of that night, I got entirely too drunk. And then I continued to drink the next morning. Man, it was great. And, shout out to Caitlin. We talked after that. We did, Rivals 2 together as well. She cool, but she's probably the worst competitor on the challenge ever in challenges. Yeah.
No, but you guys definitely would have gotten DQ'd regardless if you drank or not, I felt,
Yeah. But it might have been a little bit more dramatic. I mean, it might have been like, she's limping and trying to climb a mountain on crutches while Brandon's just standing behind her walking. Because that's all I was going to do. No, because like after I knew what it was, I was like, I am going, like I even said it on the show. I was like, I'm going to find a nice patch of grass and I'm going to go to sleep. I was going to just lay down because I knew she couldn't compete. Like we're literally having to do a hike up and down a mountain and do puzzles along the way. Like there was no way that was happening that day.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to Cutthroat, I spoke with Dan about this from Cutthroat. A lot of people, and you saw in the shit they should have shown edition of Cutthroat that a lot of people thought that the house was haunted. Do you have any light that you could shed on that?
I like shit like that. So, but I don't think so. I think people. I mean, so here's the deal. I mean, I know you already probably know this. And I'm sorry, I keep looking away. I'm trying to find out. I never charged my computer. I got like 37%. I wish it'd be 5. No, I don't. I think people, like even with the quarantine, you can talk yourself into anything. So when you're sitting at the crib and you hear a little creak here, a creak there, something, and then there was like a top floor of that house that we weren't allowed to go up to. Apparently, some people were sneaking up there and stuff. They said they were anyway, but I don't think anybody ever actually went up all the way up there. But yeah, no, I don't think it was on it. I mean, it was good to show. The editing was great on that, but yeah, no. And then once they found out people were trying to get up there, they made it really, really clear that if we went up there, they were going to find us. And I'm about my money, so I'm not fucking with it.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm not gonna dive into it too much because it's pretty clear. You kept getting thrown in every time on Cutthroat. So I'm just gonna ask you your thoughts on a few people on the red team. What was your thoughts on Dunbar and Tyler?
Well, man, see, that's I tell you what, Tyler is a phenomenal athlete. Phenomenal athlete. I think he's a really good guy. And I really didn't have the only problem I had with Tyler was the fact that he played the game pretty well. He made me believe that he actually, liked me. You know what I'm saying? Like we were cool. Like, hey, I see what you're doing, after, 2 elimination wins, and then I'm actually, showing up when we actually have challenges, even if we don't win them all. So he would, kind of, convey that to me, but then when it came down to voting, he would just go with the team, So I'm like, don't, or at least just keep it all the way. Let me know you're gonna do both. But it didn't, and that's what Brad did to me too. Brad, tried to make it seem like, but then when you watch the show back, when you see the final edit, in his one-on-one interviews, he talking shit. So you don't see that. We all see that in real time. Like we don't get to see what's going on as it's going on. We don't know what they're talking about with one producer by themselves until it airs. So Tyler's cool. Dunbar, I think is he's just a I don't know. I don't want to say anything negative. I'm in a good space of my life. I don't dislike him, but I mean I don't too much care for him. Like I'm not gonna send him a Christmas card or nothing. I mean he talked a lot, and he felt that he was, smarter than everybody in the house. But I think, I think he's overrated. I think he's, he's just a big dude that, some people think is attractive, and every now and then he'll get lucky and come out victorious, and then most times than not, it has nothing to do with him. Yeah. But yeah, I think he's overrated, but and he has a unique name, so there you go.
Pretty much sums it up. So obviously on the challenge that's currently going on this new season, they implemented a rule. I don't know if you were aware or not. I don't know how familiar you are, but they implemented a new rule that in order to get to the final, you have to win an elimination. So everybody has to go in. If you don't go in, you're not making the final. So there's this one guy who came from Survivor, and he was kind of like a smaller guy. His name's Jay, right? They threw him into the first 3 eliminations, after he proved himself. And the second one he went into, he actually beat CT. Yeah, obviously it wasn't anything physical, but it was he beat CT.
There you go.
So he got thrown in 3 straight times, the first 3 eliminations, right? And he just went home. So obviously you got thrown in a lot. Would you have liked to see that, rule implemented when you were there?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, and it's good that they're doing that now, because that was always the argument of the vets when the rookies would come in. Well, you've never seen an elimination. You haven't done this before. You haven't done this. You haven't done that. But then you'll have some vets, that might have seen one, but have won a final or 2 with a team because they got carried because they were the weak link. So I think this evens it out. It's you got to earn your keep. You know what I'm saying? You can't just get in here and link up, Space Jam and fucking, you got, and everybody's, A1, and all of a sudden, you're finna go to a final and only because I just don't know you. And even if you're winning and winning and winning, it just takes that one loss. I think I haven't gotten as far. I think the closest I got was maybe Cutthroat, but, I hate it when I see people get to the last challenge before a final, and then they get beat, especially if they've won some eliminations, because that's pretty much all I know. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I do like that they implemented that, because I mean I think it evens the playing field. You got to play different in the house too, because now you know what it is. A lot of people get their feelings involved, and that's why they did it at first anyway. It's because all right, check this out. So I told you one thing in the room, and now we're all in the room to vote together. Now I got to go with the masses because I think that you might get beat. So if you don't come home, I'm still cool with them. So I need the numbers. But let's just say some little crazy person like myself ends up winning and coming back. Now I'm mad at you. So if I have the opportunity next time, if let's say my team wins and I thought we was cool, guess who I'm gonna go vote for? And that just takes the strategy and a lot of different business parts out of the game because it's like now my emotions are involved. I just want you to go in because you fucked me over last time.
Right.
But now, hey, you got to go in at some point. So go ahead. And I will say this: I have not watched the challenge since my last season. I am a bitter, horrible person. I'm married with 2 kids. That's why I don't have time. but 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 nah, man, I haven't been able to really check it out. But I still talk. Me and Leroy talk all the time because he lives out here too. We talk. He'll tell me little stuff, before it happens and little stuff like that. So.
So obviously, most people know what happened in your elimination with Ty. One of the most notorious moments. What would you say your dynamic with Ty was heading into Rivals 1?
I really, to be totally honest, I felt bad for him. I mean, because of not the way I did him, but just the way it happened. And then after we talked, and then just knowing how so many people tried to help him. Like, there were so many, Paulo was really big at trying to talk to him in the house and be like, dude, you can't do this. You can't say this. You can't do that. Emily was there. She was like, what is on your mind? Like, and he'd be all, fuck that, blah, blah, blah. And then same thing. Like, we get to, where were we? Costa Rica when we did Rivals 2. We get there and he's stirring up stuff. He gets into it with I forget the kid's name. Adam, yeah. And I'm trying to talk to him like constantly. I was like, dude, like you are already on the radar. So why are you making yourself a bullseye? Like you're gonna make it to where we have to win everything. So because we can't put ourselves in a position to go in because now everybody's like, man, fuck this guy. So going into that though, after beating him on Cutthroat, I mean, I wasn't mad at all once we found out that it was going to be teams and that it was going to be rivals and that me and him were teammates. I was like, look at him. He's a specimen. But guess what happened? We could have made history by beating Kenny and Wes, arguably 2 of the greatest challenge participants in history. I did my part.
Yeah.
And the rules were a little confusing at the time because they were saying like, okay, it's Kenny and West versus Brandon and Ty. And so me and Kenny were on these ropes and then Ty and West were on these ropes. And as I understood it afterwards, if me and Ty would have just both got up first, then it was just went over in the first round. But then the way they explained it at first, it made it seem like there could be multiple rounds but I beat everybody like super quick. I'd never climbed a rope in my life. I'm scared of ropes. I'm black. I'm just messing with you. So, but no, I'd never climbed a rope in my life, seriously. So I'm just up, boom. So I'm just hanging there like, because these 3, Kenny's in the water. Like, he can't even get out. And these 2 over here, I'm like yelling at Ty, but I'm not thinking about it after the fact. I'm wasting energy as I'm just holding myself up there because I already rang the bell. I should have just dropped, got out, rested, watched. And then when Ty got beat, and Ty's a specimen. I'm talking about he literally looked like somebody just took muscle fibers and just wrapped them around bone and just made them. Like, he was like, everybody was like, damn, do you eat at all? Like, it's just like, just ripped up. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm looking over there and he can't barely get up the ropes. So, of course, West beats him. I'm gassed. And that's the story of Ty. I mean, he 2 seasons in a row, let me down.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
So I saw this in I think it was either the shit they should have shown or it was on YouTube somewhere. You and Johnny Bananas actually butted heads on Cutthroat a little bit. So what would you say your dynamic and thoughts on him are behind the scenes that we don't see?
I like Johnny. Here's the deal. You can't argue numbers. Numbers don't lie. He's the best. Just look at the money he's made. Look at and the things he's turned it into. He had his own show on NBC. He's doing some other stuff. I'm sure he's probably filming a movie right now we just don't know about. He's that guy and he's good at what he does. He knows how to turn it on when the cameras are on too. He's not he's not bananas when he's, you know, not filming or whatever. So that's cool. But see, that was my problem. I take everybody for what you give me. I don't give a fuck if we filming. I take what you give me. So, but he's really smart in that. But I mean, it's not like I'm not sending him a Christmas card either. I don't hate the guy, but he's a little bit much for me. But him and Leroy are like best friends, and because of me and Leroy being good friends, I don't have a problem. It's not just because of that. I don't have a problem with Bananas at all. I mean, I respect the shit out of him. I mean, shit, I wish he would have latched on to me to be a best friend, because hell, I might have done some more shows.
So obviously we just talked about how Rivals ended for you, but what would you say, like, you and Ty leaving the show after that? How did you guys kind of leave it?
After Rivals, we left. I mean, we left it at that. I mean, he told me. I mean, he straight up told me we were in the airport like the next morning. No, maybe the next night. He straight up told me that, you know, I have a new respect for you. Thank you for, you know, trying to help me with communicating, especially with the females in the house. But he said everybody likes you because you're so nice. And it's not being nice. It's just being understanding. Like, you have to know that your way isn't the only way, and not everybody was raised like you. That's how I was raised. You have to be universal. You have to be panoramic about everything you're looking at, and you have to pay attention. It's not all about you. And that's why I feel like, you know, I can have a conversation with anybody, you know, but at the same time, I have my morals and values and all that shit, but I'm not going to shit on yours just because it's foreign to me or because I don't like it. And then, you know, now I'm being rude. I mean, you choose to be mad. You choose to be a dick. And if that's your play, then be able to back it up. But you can't do that when you're my teammate and you're jeopardizing our shit. So That was it. And he was like, I respect. He said, dude, I'm actually glad that you were my teammate, you know, like on a different level, not just because of the show, you know, because, you know, you give me different perspective. And I was like, hey, I can appreciate that, you know. And you made me a little bit more patient.
Right. So since we're on the topic of Rivals, there was the second Rivals. Ty was actually Leroy's partner. That season you weren't on, but after listening to Challenge Mania, I obviously heard that you said you and Alton didn't really see eye to eye. So in a hypothetical situation, if you were to go on the second Rivals season, who would you have wanted to be your partner out of, you know, I mean, just because, you know, how they stretch some pairs, like, they could have put you with Danny. They could have put you with Alton if they wanted. And I mean, I don't know if you have any other rivalries that we didn't see come to.
No, I would take Alton, to be honest. Like, but I mean, you know, hindsight's 20/20. I mean, you'd have asked me this, you know, a year or two ago. I'd be like, man, fuck him, like, because he really pissed me off. Like, it was like and it never aired. I hope it never does. Because I was drunk as hell. I think I might have been crying. Like, I'm one of those, like, I'm like, if I get like too drunk and I feel like you hurt my feelings and I want to fight you, I don't even know why I'm crying, but I just want to kill everybody. Yeah. It's weird. That's why I don't drink that much anymore. But nah, I would go with Alton though, because I mean, for one, he's a vet. He's proven. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with him. Outside of him smoking cigarettes all day and having a 6-pack, which makes me jealous. Nah, I mean, you know, we fake made up the next morning, but that was some whole shit that he pulled that the night that it happened or whatever, because it was over some dumb shit. But I mean, that's what, 10 years ago? No,
yeah, that's like 8, 9.
Yeah.
So, yes. So since we're on the Battle of Seasons now. You guys came in late. There was actually, from what I heard, there was a Real World Sydney team that got flown out there, and that they weren't medically cleared to compete. So they called you, Easy, Camilla, and Karin. And I know that they kind of targeted Real World Austin first, and then you guys, it seemed like they were kind of, I guess, you were on their radar second after them. But for you personally, because there was like actually like a fine line. There was a lot of youngsters on that season and very few vets. you weren't really technically on the younger side, but since you had like 2 seasons under your belt, so you weren't like a rookie, but you technically weren't a super vet either. So where did you kind of fall, in terms of like numbers and people in the house?
Well, I mean, I actually had a little bit more pull than they showed, but ultimately Alton fucked me on that one too. Because when I get there, you'll see. I don't know if they even aired it, but like, I think Melinda ran up to me, jumped on me. Sarah ran up to me. A couple other people that knew me from the previous one. Of course, Zach and them. They have no idea who I am, so they're just kind of like, "What's up?" Whatever. So, but so then as we start moving through, they're kind of like, "Oh, okay." And then they knew what Camilla could do, but she only had one season. But yeah, I mean, surprisingly, I was kind of like in the mix as far as like, hey, we think we're gonna do this, we might do that, and like people were letting me know stuff because usually that might be my problem too. Like I really don't get into the politics about it. I mean, I might find myself in some random drama, but I'm more of a mindset of, hey man, let's just strap it on, get on the field, and who wins wins. But you can help yourself out by making some friends. But yeah, no, actually, I was surprised at how I was received because nobody knew we were coming, and they'd already been there for like a couple weeks before we got there. So it was pretty cool, though. It felt good. But then, once it came down to we kept losing, and everybody kept seeing why we were losing, and it caused some friction within the team. Between me and Camilla, me and Cara argued a little bit, but she got it. But it was more about I'm gonna go I was preventing them from going and being rude to Easy because, me and him were cool and he, I kind of had a soft spot for him and they're like talking all the shit about him and stuff. And I'm like, you can only do what you can do, this and that. I was like, but at the same time, when it comes down to the game, if whoever's the reason that we lose that challenge, you got to go in. I don't care how many times it is. Because I'm in the mindset of, I just got done doing it last season. Like, that's all I did. Even when it wasn't my fault. But he got in Alton's ear, Alton's ear the night before they were supposed to vote because we did it right on the spot on that season. And, they had this, whole vet talk, OG talk, whatever, I've been here and this and that. I just want, because didn't Easy win like 2 eliminations before that? I think he won 1 or maybe 2.
He, on Battle of the Seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went in and beat a Wes and then he beat Danny in the second.
Yeah. So he's like, I've done. Basically, his argument was, I've done enough. I've shown what I can do. No, my friend. You have to do that in the challenge so your team can win. That way, we don't have to have this conversation about you going into elimination. Elimination is just a second chance for you to come back. That's just an olive branch. We can just vote you off like if it was a different game, but you get a chance to come back. But he got because he knew because Austin's team won, so they got the pick from our team. So yeah, and that's how that went down. Because I didn't think I was going in, and then but I don't know if that was before. Me and Austin had already gotten into it, so I'm sure that exchange didn't help me stay in there. But yeah, fuck him.
So your last season you did was Free Agents. Did you like the format that was?
Yes and no. New teams, every challenge. It was kind of weird, but I think it was an attempt to keep people from making those clicks that they already had.
Yeah,
a lot of us still talk about the game outside of the game. I don't. I got too much shit to do. But if they call me, I will come back. So that is a way to, get around that or to see how far some people would go to still try to keep their little clicks. It's real different teams. You can sabotage the challenge. So I like the format. I think it was probably outside of, what was that one I liked a long time ago? I think it was the Duel.
Yeah, that's the one where it was kind of individual, but you got to call out who you fit.
Yeah. So I think outside of that one, it was a great attempt at trying to get it to be the level of the playing field. So
yeah, I mean, personally, the whole flipping of the cards thing drove me fucking nuts. Like,
dude,
oh my god, like
I knew it though. That night I went in, I said I'm gonna get Zach. I told what's the big tall dude's name? Forget his name.
Preston.
Yeah, Preston. We were walking to the elimination spot. I was like, I'm gonna get Zach. He was like, no, I feel it. I already know it. I know it. And lo and behold, I saw the first. I'm like, he didn't even go yet. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, just go ahead and let's just get this over with. And then, what's funny too, one of the producers who was new and clearly didn't know me was like, hey, you don't have to do this. I was like, what? The guy's not gonna kill me. Like, it's not a duel. Like, I'm not gonna just take 5 paces, turn and shoot. Like, okay, but she was like, you don't have to. I'm like, dude, I'm okay. So I went in there and got my ass whooped real good, and it is what it is. And even afterwards, like, some other producers was like, man, I wouldn't have fucking done that. I just would have. I was like, but there's no way in hell that I'm gonna be on national TV saying I'm scared. Man. Hell no. He might have took a light on me too, because he's a big dude.
That was actually one of my next questions. He's actually come up on my podcast a lot recently, Zach. Yeah. I was gonna ask, is he as strong as he looked?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, he's a big dude, super nice too. Like, he even made a joke when we were on Battle of the Seasons. He was like, let's act like we don't like each other. That way we can be partners if they do another Rivals. Yeah. And I thought he was bullshitting. Looking back on it, I bet like if I would have taken it seriously and we could have acted like we hated each other, we might have, you never know, because he liked me because my personality, my football background, like we talked about football a lot in sports and stuff. He's big and strong. I'm small and quick. Like, it could have been a decent combination, but
he ended up getting Trey the very next season on Rivals too.
Yeah.
And I spoke to Trey a few weeks ago about that. So
yeah.
And you guys, you could have fit the similar mold that Trey kind of was for him, because you and Trey were both football players, and they could have put you and Zach together. It would have basically been like the same thing almost. You and Trey kind of fit the same character. Don't
we had to go at it. Yeah, we had to go at it on Battle of the Seasons, like in that oil pit thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get me out. I couldn't get him out. Like, going into it, because like I say, whenever we order our uniforms and our swag or whatever, they give us like a list of stuff and say, what are your sizes or whatever. I usually just say like large. Because like I usually give half of it away anyway when I get back, because they give us so much stuff from Under Armour. Mm-hmm. And then other stuff, but like, some of them boys, they'll get small. Like, I wear size small. It's like, dude, you are 210 pounds, or why are you wearing a small t-shirt? Like, they do stuff like that. So, like, anytime I have to, get undressed or anything, people think, like, oh, he actually does work out. Like, yeah, I don't have my deep V, but no, Trey even said afterwards, like, he was like, I was surprised. Like, he's like, you don't look like, you're very dense, but you don't look as heavy as you are. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't have to, show off. I'll just show up.
Yeah. So obviously the vote that got you sent into the free agents elimination, you were kind of pissed off at Swift for kind of following suit with what the cool guys wanted, so to speak. What's your thoughts on Swift? Like, how did you kind of leave that?
I think because that was his first one, right? I believe
that was his first and last. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. There's that. That's how I don't watch. But yeah, and no hate on Swift at all. But for anybody that goes by their last name, I have to question him first and foremost. Secondly, he just fucking with him. But he just went along with it. I think he fell into that same trap that a lot of rookies do, and it's like, damn, I'm here.
Right.
I seen you before. I know you, and this and that. Like, and then And they pull him to the side. Hey, buddy, this is what we're supposed to do. This is how we do this, because he was in the room. He stayed in a room with Bananas, Leroy, CT, and I forget who else was in there. But you got these guys, and they're just telling you what to do. All the while, you're coming to me for all this advice because him and Jasmine had this little back and forth thing or whatever. Me and Jazz is real cool. He's like, man, I'm trying to blah, blah, blah. And we're having like these long discussions that the camera crew would just be like, okay, we're not going to use this. They would just fucking walk away. And because we were sitting there literally drinking wine out the bottle in the back, just like, yo, don't do it like this, man. Do it like that, blah, blah, this and that. And then we get to the damn vote and you say my name. I'm like, are you serious? And I think the vote was tied at the time. And I'm like,
yeah, it was tied, yeah.
Like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, all right. But see, my thing, like I say, I'm not going to lash out and do the Anissa thing. I love Anissa. But I think, I should have been more vocal. I don't know if I would have been able to switch his vote. But at the same time, I still talked to him afterwards. I was like, you're an idiot. Like, they don't care about, they're using you. They used you for the vote. And I was up, and that was it. I was like, if you would have been at the bottom, it would have been you. And they're going to do that to you next, just so you know. I don't give a fuck if you stay in the same room with them or not. And y'all, yeah. And y'all talk about all this shit from back home and this and that and what you're going to do when the show wraps and how we're going to meet up. I've been through that. Ain't nobody calling you. Unless you really cool for real, nobody's calling you. So that was just, it's a rookie mistake. It happens. I mean, especially when you're coming, your first time and you're a fan, it's always that mind game you got to be prepared for.
So, were you ever called again after that season, or
after Free Agents?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got called twice actually as an alternate. It just didn't work out. Apparently, they got the cast they wanted, and everybody was able to get on. And
the next two seasons after you did, where it was actually X's 2 and then Bloodlines. So I don't know how,
Yeah, that would have been. But see, what they do is they build the theme around the cast. So it's not the other way around because they'll call, most of us and, say, okay, we got these people we can go with. And these people said no. So we can't do this thing. So with these people, we could do this thing. But how do you think this person will work with this person? And they just build and build and build from there. And then they'll call back and say, okay, well, just be on standby. Or they'll call back and say, you got it. Be ready. But then with the people that they do actually use, which is basically the same scenario that happened with me not getting on Real Road Cancun, it was I didn't fit what they were trying to eventually portray when they aired the show. So, yeah, that's all it is. So, like I said, if they call, I'm going to go get that check.
You have to now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just wrap it up with a last question.
Yes, perfect. Because I'm at 10%, so this is perfect.
What have you been up to since reality television?
Let's see if I can put it in a couple little paragraphs. Since reality television, I have 2 children. I have my son, Aiden Maximus Nelson, who lives in California with his mother, and he's doing great. He's going to be 3 in August. I have my beautiful wife. I have my beautiful daughter, who's 1.5. She'll be 2 in September. I am still currently working during this pandemic. I'm blessed to have a job. Hopefully, we get over it pretty quick. And then, of course, hours are being cut and all those good things. Also, this shirt right here. This is my girl. Her name is PZB. Just those letters. Go find her on Instagram. Her name is at PZB Live. She's an artist. We have a company called Cali Rock ENT. Go follow that as well.
I'll put that in the description.
Yeah, she's actually the tour DJ for Eric B. and Rakim. They've done 2 tours so far. We're trying to figure out. Actually, we got a contact from. Well, I can't say it yet, but it's a very important person's PR person that I've been talking to for the past couple of weeks. So I'm the manager, and I'm trying to get this going. I'm like Diddy back in the day. But it's going pretty well. So go check her out. She's super dope. She's personal DJ for LL Cool J, Eric B. Rakim. She does Shaq's parties. Like she's the real deal. And we've known each other forever, like since back home in Arkansas. So it's not like I just jumped on and she grabbed me because I was on TV. Like, nah, we've known each other forever. So that's the biggest thing I'm working on. Other than that, man, just trying to be a good husband and a good dad and not shoot anybody.
That's the name of the game. Well, I appreciate you coming on here today, Brandon. You're awesome, man. So keep up with what you're doing.
Oh, my man, I appreciate you too, man. And yo, dude, do you already have that internship that you were talking about? Or?
I'm starting it at the end of my sophomore year. So right now, I just finished my freshman year.
Yeah, but you're already locked into it, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that's dope. That's big, man. Congrats on that, man. I'm not going to say I hope it works out. Let me know when it works out so we can go have a beer.
Got you, man. All right, man. Well, I hope you take care and you're staying safe.
You as well, man. Stay safe and bless your family, man. Thank you.
You too. Same to you.
Thank you.